Hey, 7th graders, if you are watching this, hopefully you guys are my blue group and you know for sure that you're my blue group. We'll have a second to go ahead and check, but I just want to explain to you guys what your learning targets are right now. So this is 2.6 population, and your learning targets are: I can predict the direct and indirect effects on a population if one population changes size. So we've kind of been studying this over the last couple weeks. But I want to just give you guys a chance to double check that you are in fact blue group. So if you go ahead and right click the link right here, choose open link, you guys should be brought into this page right here, and the first thing you guys should see is blue group. If you are not seeing blue group, you are not the blue group. Figure out which group you are and go watch that video instead. Alright, so my blue group people, you are now in the right spot, and know you are in the right spot. Today's assignment will be obviously 2.6, and you'll be completing slides 3 through 10 on this assignment. Okay, the other ones are for the other groups. You do not need to complete them. All right, so moving on, let's take a look at slide 3. So the general structure of today's assignment is I'm going to give you guys a piece of evidence. So this is going to be your initial evidence, and you guys are just going to write your thoughts on what you feel is happening to these populations based on the data that I've given you or the original evidence that I've given you. So let's take a look at your guys' initial evidence. What you guys have is this little population puzzle concerning moose. Okay, so moose are large hoofed animals with antlers. In 2010, ecologists observed a decrease in the size of the moose population in the Glacial Sea area. We're going to actually refer to it as the Baltic Sea area, as the Glacier Sea does not exist. Use the evidence they collected to explain why the population decreased. So on this evidence card, you're provided with this little food web where grass is supplying the energy to the moose, and moose are getting eaten by the wolves and therefore are supplying the energy to the wolves. Okay, so your initial evidence is moose eat grass, moose are eaten by wolves, and it was unusually warm in 2010. So you really don't get a whole lot of evidence in this first card, but that's okay. You'll get more. You'll add to it as you go. So I just want your guys' initial thoughts on this. Why did the size of the moose population decrease? Based on what you guys saw with this initial evidence, why do you think our moose population was decreasing? I can come up with a couple different reasons, but I want to hear what you guys have to think. So why did the size of the moose population decrease? Use the initial evidence to explain why the size of the moose population decreased. So go ahead, take a second, pause this video. When you're done with that, go ahead and hit play again, and we'll move on, and I will give you guys evidence card A. All right, welcome back. You guys should have responded to this question before moving on to evidence card A. Once you're done with that, we'll go ahead and go on. So here's a new bit of evidence that I'm going to give you. So what you see on evidence card A is a picture of this kind little fella called a tick. You guys should all be fairly familiar with them as they are common where we live. So ticks are parasites or organisms that feed on parts of other organisms, usually without killing them. If they kill them, they can't keep feeding on them and they need a new food source. Ticks suck blood from larger animals to get energy storage molecules. Each tick only sucks a small amount of blood from a larger animal. 10 years ago, there were very few ticks around the Baltic Sea area, and now there are more based on samples ecologists collected. This year, ecologists found a moose in the area with 100,000 ticks on its body. That is disgusting. I hope you guys sleep well at night. All right, so earlier you guys learned that kind of moose eat grass and wolves eat the moose. Now we've kind of added this little aspect of ticks and asked you guys why we might have seen a decrease in the moose population. So use what you just learned on evidence card A to create a more complete explanation about why the size of the moose population decreased. So use what you just learned about ticks to kind of add to your guys' original thoughts. Okay, pause this video, do that. When you guys are done with your response on slide 6, you guys can go ahead and hit play, and we'll move on to your last piece of evidence, which is evidence card B. All right, welcome back. Here's evidence card B for you guys. So what you see in this is another little food web that kind of adds on top of ours, where moose are now giving their energy via blood to the tick. Obviously, the tick shouldn't be killing that whole animal, but it is definitely getting its food or its energy from that moose. So your final evidence is that when a tick sucks another animal's blood, that animal has to make new blood to replace what is lost. Animals use energy storage molecules to release energy and replace blood. So in order to replace that blood, the body has to work hard and uses up some of those energy storage molecules. Ticks survive best in warm weather. So I think there was a piece of evidence on your guys' initial evidence that supported this statement right here. So maybe go back to your initial evidence and look at what that was. Now I want you guys to tie all of your evidence together, what you just learned with evidence B, evidence A, and your initial evidence, and answer this question. Use evidence card B to create an even more complete explanation about why the size of the moose population decreased. Okay, pause that, and when you guys are done, we'll go ahead and do our wrap-up. All right, so here's your wrap-up. Do you have any questions, yes or no? If you have any questions, type them below. If you guys have something that's preventing you from completing this assignment, please let me know and I can help you out as soon as possible. And finally, how do you feel you did on this assignment? Give me a 4, 3, 2, or a 1. Once you have done that, you may turn it in. Nice work, eh? Talk to you soon.